starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Nirali, and I'm the host for today's meeting. I have completed my master's in clinical psychology, and currently I'm practicing as a psychologist at Reach Out Counseling Center, as well as I am a career counselor at Holistry. I'm also a certified RECBT therapist and a workshop developer and facilitator. Hereby, I welcome you all, and I would request each one of you to introduce yourself. A very short and quick introduction so that we can begin with our session soon. So, Chhaya ma'am, can you please introduce yourself?
Myself, Chhaya Chaudhary, licensed rehabilitation psychology. I have passed my master's degree in clinical psychology and then physiotherapy from Vision Institute, Faridabad. And also I have 3-year work experience in psychiatric and the addiction.
Okay. Indrani ma'am, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi Nirali. First, I'd like to apologize for joining all so late. I was in basically another one. I'm Indrani Banerjee Sarangi. I'm from Kolkata. I'm a clinical psychotherapist, and I'm the founder director of Cherish Being You, which is a center for complete emotional wellness.
Okay. Vivo 1807. I'm sorry. Can you introduce your name? Can you tell your name and introduce yourself?
I am Poonam Pava. I have done my MPhil in clinical psychology and working as a clinical psychologist for past 7 years.
Okay. Vaishali?
Yeah, so I'm Vaishali and I've completed my master's in clinical psychology and I work in child rehabilitation center as clinical therapist and I'm associated with 2 mental health organizations as consultant psychologist, and also I have my own venture wherein I provide digital services. It's aimed at potential needs.
Okay. Ajab ma'am?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is so good to meet all of you. To give a brief introduction about myself, I am Dr. Rajab. I am a PhD in psychology, clinical psychology in depression. I work with a school as a school psychologist since almost 13 years now, and I have a private practice as well. And I have been into training and working with kids is my hobby. So I work more with children with autism and learning difficulties, but I also cater to differential needs at every aspect. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Ruchi ma'am, can you introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruchi Garg, and I have done masters in clinical psychology and postgraduate diploma in rehabilitation psychology. I am RCI registered psychologist, and I am basically I provide workshop and counseling, and I also have my private clinic where I provide services. Thank you.
Okay. Priyanka ma'am?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Priyanka Srivastav, MPhil 2019. I'm a clinical psychologist and working as a counselor in JNV Hamirpur.
Okay. Deepika ma'am? Deepika ma'am, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I am a counselor and
Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
counselor in a school in Shiliguri Sector 30 School. I go there. I am based in Kolkata. I have my own contact.
Ma'am, I think there is some network issues from your side.
I don't know. I think I'm audible. I don't know whether I'm audible or not. Okay. Now tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. I Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it's not very clear. Ma'am, no worries. Whenever there is some connection, you can introduce yourself. Till then, we can move forward. Yes. So, yeah, I think one more person joined. Yes. Hello.
I think I don't know.
Bhakti ma'am?
Oh. Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, Deepika ma'am, go ahead. No, ma'am, I think there is a lot of connectivity issues. No problem, ma'am. We can go ahead with the session. I think we should start with the session, with our discussion. So, my first and foremost question would be, how do we differentiate between narcissists and those who have narcissistic personality disorder? Who would like to answer? Please go ahead.
Vaishali, are you going ahead or should I do?
Okay, I may try to answer that thing in my way.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. So when we think of narcissistic person, we see a lot of traits that narcissistic person inherits or is present within them. But when we come to narcissistic personality disorder, it is supposed to be a pervasive pattern. So be it in any situation across any person, irrespective of anything, they are going to show those things. So that's what differentiates them. And with narcissistic personality disorder, there is a discomfort within them in respect to that because they are so rigid in that pattern because it's part of their personality. Wherein with narcissistics, it's supposed to be a specific trait in that regard, and we cannot diagnose someone for those specific traits, of course. So that's the difference which I feel. Maybe Indrani ma'am, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Vaishali. Okay. Narcissism or narcissist is a narcissist person is a person who is narcissistic.
Right.
But narcissistic personality disorder, we call it, when that person is having a pervasive difficulty in adjusting to his or her surroundings.
Okay.
Okay, so we call it a disorder when the people around him, he's having problem in relationships, maybe at work, at home, or maybe he's breaking out in rages, which is causing a lot of discomfort around him. Then we
Right.
call it a disorder. But basically, if we see that we all have a little bit of narcissism in all of us, and that is exactly why we become very proud of our achievements. It makes us happy when we reach our goals, when our plans work out. Okay, I
Right.
hope you all can hear me.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay, so that is when we see that it's a personality, but because it's a cluster B personality.
Right.
But we call it a disorder when the person is himself having a discomfort in his surrounding, or is causing a lot of discomfort in his surrounding, which is usually the case. The people around the
Yeah.
narcissist suffers a lot.
Okay. So that brings to another question that, what are the most common symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder?
I would love to answer that, but if anybody else
Sure.
wants to go ahead before me, that is nice. Shall I?
Yes.
Vaishali, would you want
Yeah,
to?
yeah, you can.
Okay. So there are some very specific attributes.
Okay.
I would like to call a narcissistic personality disorder person to be an antagonist. That person creates a lot of disturbance in the lives of the people around him. Okay.
Okay.
And one thing that prominently stands up is the person's lack of empathy. There is nothing like empathy for anybody around him. Sometimes to the extent that somebody else's misery can make the person happy. Okay. And I personally feel that the only two emotions a narcissist, an NPD, let me call it him or her an NPD, that NPD person feels are the two emotions, whether I won or whether I lost. It's
Okay. So they are
everything
on the
about that.
extremes.
These are the extremes. Okay.
Right.
And other than that, we can say that there is a sense of entitlement, that I'm the person, I should be the center of attention. You need to shower me with a lot of admiration, adulation, praise. They are constantly seeking those kind of things.
Right.
Then there is, okay, and then there is also the grandiosity.
Yes.
Huge grandiosity. And they constantly keep talking about that. I have this, I have achieved that. This is how I've done it. That person couldn't even stand a chance against me, etc., etc., etc.
It's all about them. The whole world
It's all
revolves
about
only about them.
Oh yes, the whole world revolves around them. Then there is also a sense of superficiality. Okay, because something that looks grandiose must be great. A thing has to look great. A thing has to be bigger. Or something has to be larger. They don't feel that depth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They don't
Yes, I
feel
get
that
it.
depth. They only see the grandiosity about
Surface
everything.
level.
And yes, and that is so superficial.
Right.
And then there is rage also.
Right.
They have a very little control of their anger. And if they're not getting proper attention, they're angry. And if they're not getting attention, they're angry. If somebody they hate gets something in life, they're angry, and they don't have much control of that anger. So they're constantly throwing rage here, there. Okay, and they're extremely arrogant people. Extremely arrogant people. Oh, I don't want to invite him. He doesn't dress well. that kind of stuff. They don't have enough money, they'll go out and buy something that will make them look very
Right.
posh, very rich, very grandiose. They're like that. Then there are others, shall I say, attributes or characteristics as well, or symptoms, like they're jealous of others' success, jealous when others are getting more attention.
Right.
They're extremely manipulative.
Yes.
They can touch your feet if they want you to do something for them, for their win. Remember I told you the
Yes.
loss and the
The
win.
extremes,
So
yeah.
yes, they can manipulate you to any extent in
Mhm.
order to gain something from you. They can be and they can, again, they can say whatever comes to them, their mind, just to manipulate you and to keep you way below himself
Mhm.
or herself.
Yeah.
Okay, then there are too many. They cheat, they project their own feelings on others, they gaslight, they accuse the people in their lives of doing stuff that they don't
They
even
always
think
play
of
the
doing.
blame game.
Oh yes, blame game.
Right.
And they're very and they do it, they're very smooth about this operation. So at one point of time, after repeated accusations, the other person will actually have doubts that whether I'm so wrong, and they start believing, which we
Right.
call gaslighting.
The narcissistic are basically capable of making somebody else feel low about themselves.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Okay.
And they're usually the most successful people in the room.
Okay.
Most successful
Right.
antagonists, yes.
So how does all of these, so since their world revolves around themselves and they blame others, they always have, like, it's all about them. So how could it affect the other people or other areas of their life? So when it comes to family, friends, relationships, career, or workspace, how does it affect that those areas? Would anybody
Nirali, I just like to let you know that I am ready with all the answers. So if somebody else is answering, fine. But I'd like Vaishali to go ahead first with this if she wants.
I wanted to add to the symptoms that they do have low tolerance. That because there is a really fragile self-esteem that inertly present within them. So they cannot accept the criticisms, and uh, they just get disturbed with those criticisms, and it runs in their mind. So they have again that exactly Indrani ma'am told, the win situation. So they work towards it day and night to get back to that win situation. So that's how the discomfort enters within them. Now, again, with the meaning that they try to seek admiration a lot. So they tend to be really charming in personality, and with whatever achievements they have been, they think that they are special in a sense, and maybe the other special person only can understand them. Maybe we are the ordinary people around them, and they don't look at us as the special ones. So that's one difference that they look upon us with. So that's what I feel.
Okay. So coming to the question, like, how does all these things affect the other areas of their life? So when it comes to relationships, how does it affect? Chaya ma'am, would you like to answer? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, Nirali, you are audible.
Chaya ma'am, can you hear me? Oh, she's connecting.
Yes.
Can I try? Can I
Yes,
give an input?
yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, so whatever the symptoms have been told, according to me, it is just that when the person doesn't have the empathy,
Right.
and when they hurt the people around them, right? So the connection is lost, right? So
Right.
they understand in once or second time that that particular person hurts and is, you know, full of themselves.
True, true.
So the person around them is are affected by it, whereas in, for example, if they are in a job place, right, and in a corporate world, so emotions are, you know, doesn't matter much, and they are highly manipulated, so they can easily manipulate them. So that is why, as ma'am said, that they are very successful people.
True. Okay. So how about family? Like in relationships, they are very much so, as you all said, that you know they are very manipulative and demanding, and they are very successful in their career path. So how does it affect in the case of their family, or especially when you know a father figure or having a narcissist parent? How does it affect the child?
I'd like to go ahead with this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now when a narcissist thinks that he wants somebody in his life, let me start with that, okay?
Right.
Somebody in his life, he will do everything within his capacity to manipulate the person to believe that he or she means the world to the NPD person, okay?
Right.
And obviously, a person will get in there in the periphery or the zone of the NP person, and then starts the phase of a relationship whether the relative is used constantly. Okay, he or she is used constantly to for the narcissistic person's gain.
Right.
So that, yes, so even if it is a girlfriend, even if it is a wife, she will be used by the NP person to keep on using her to gain stuff. She'll become instrumental in helping him to achieve success or achieve whatever he's planning to achieve in his life.
Right.
And so that she constantly stays there and provides him with that kind of support, he will keep on doubting or gaslighting the spouse, okay, with hurtful accusations, with so much so that the spouses are usually so full of self-doubt that I am in no way good enough for my spouse.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so yes, a narcissistic personality disorder person can be so indifferent, some can be so cold towards their spouses, they can be so ignorant intentionally. Maybe he's trying to keep one eye on the spouse constantly, but when the spouse is around, he will show a very cold indifference. He makes everybody around him feel that you are here.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the meeting might get over in a minute. So please rejoin
Okay,
the same
okay,
link.
we will do that.
Yes.
Let's wait then. I'll pick up from there.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
NPDs are really interesting.
I'd like to add to
Yes.
what Indrani ma'am is saying after that. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Oh, definitely. There is so much to talk about them.
I know, right? Okay, I think
Yes,
I'll
there's
just
so
end the
much to talk about.
Please rejoin. I'll just.
Yes, that will be better. That is
Yes.
better. Let's do that.
Yes. Please continue.
Vaishali, you were saying something?
Yeah, you go ahead. I just add on to it.
Okay. Now, the next thing I'd like to say is I was talking about the impact of
Spouse.
a narcissist
Yes.
on his spouse or his or her
Right.
spouse.
Right.
So there, I can recall three very important things that happens to the spouse:
Okay.
chronic invalidation,
Mm-hmm.
chronic dehumanization,
Okay.
chronic neglect. But at the same time, maybe the narcissist spouse is taking the victim spouse, where here the victim is the spouse of the narcissist. So the
Right.
narcissist spouse might be spending in lakhs on the victim spouse,
Right.
taking them on breathtaking holidays, buying them breathtaking gifts so that he can talk about it.
Making them
And
feel
so
that
that
we actually love you or care for you.
no, once they have the person within their grip, they don't need to feel the other person that I actually care for you. This is for the
Okay.
world.
Right.
This
Okay.
is for the world. Okay. This is to reflect that I am capable of affording this. Okay. So
Okay.
for them, because the spouse is constantly reminded that she is not good enough. She
Right.
is not efficient enough. She's not human enough. She's not capable enough. It's an honor that she is even in the periphery of a narcissist, of such a successful
Okay.
human being.
Hmm.
Okay, of
Right.
such an amazing human being, because narcissists think, they don't think, they want to reflect that they are the best thing that could happen to this world. They're like too good for the world.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so they yes, and so they will constantly keep telling the spouse that you are not good enough, and they will keep controlling their lives, of the spouse, of the kids, sometimes even their parents, anybody who is in and around. If he's a boss, then obviously of the people around him or her. And because we are in this metros
Mm-hmm.
where the successfuls come and settle down finally, we get to see most narcissists around us. The people we see
Right.
around us, 50% of them are narcissists. The
Okay.
hugely successful ones.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
So how does the child grow up to be? Like the child who has a narcissistic parent, how does the child grow to be?
Okay, now here is something that I'd like to tell you. Obviously, the spouse doesn't understand that she is or he is with a narcissistic husband or wife for a long time, and
Right.
by the time he or she finds out or understands that this is the pattern, this is the pattern that will be followed for the rest of their life, if they are strong enough, if they have a very strong will or a good support system, he or
Right.
she might come out and be a strong person. So when a father is a narcissist, they will provide the kids with everything, because as I said, they're usually the very successful ones. Okay, so
Right.
they don't have any dearth of financial or influential capabilities. So they usually shower their children with everything.
Right. Okay.
So when you see but they will keep on controlling their kids. They will decide where they go. They will decide what they wear. They will decide which school they go. They will decide which university they join finally. And if you are protesting, then you will be taken care of.
And also the child would be constantly criticized and blamed for
Oh
doing
yes.
things or taking their own decisions.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Right.
Oh yes. You will need a very, very strong mother. Very strong mother in order to make a child who can decide for himself.
But again,
In
a
order to help.
narcissist husband wouldn't want uh, his wife to be overpowering him or to be a strong personality, right?
No, he will definitely not want.
Right.
But then some wives have something in them and they come out with good support system. They come out.
Okay.
They come out when they really, very few, Very few.
Right.
Mostly the wives end up in therapy sessions.
Okay.
Okay, but the strong ones do come out and can provide their kids with that kind of support. But the kids usually end up being having a borderline personality disorder, if I can say so,
Okay.
along with the narcissistic tinge, because they don't
Right.
get their father emotionally. They fail to get
Right.
their father emotionally. So that is also possible. And sometimes, yes, like I said, very, very strong mother for the child to grow up or have some say. Otherwise, the child will be the same, throwing tantrums, uncontrolled rage, because that is exactly what the child has learned to see or to
True.
act as while growing
Because
up.
he has grown up.
Materialistic, very materialistic.
Right.
Beauty
Okay.
is everything. Money
Right.
is everything.
Yes.
Social status is everything. A branded shoe is everything.
Mm-hmm.
The child will also become
Okay.
like that. Extremely judgmental about this world. Who is
Right.
good and who is bad. Upfront judgment.
So that's how he has seen his father, and that's why he has, developed those things that, this is how the world is, or this is how we do things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Vaishali, you had
Also,
anything to add? Yes.
So also they tend to decide that what is right and what is wrong, because their idea of right is the only right. So they tend to make decisions, like as you said, that they decide for the child which school, which college, which university, because they have the idea that they can make the best decision and no one else can. That is followed idea that no one else can.
Vaishali, not only because they can make the best decision, but also because that particular decision will help them reach another milestone.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right? Yes,
Got it.
it's always
Got
like
it. Got it. Right.
it's scary. It's very scary.
No,
It's
but even the spouse, as ma'am told, that they
Mhm.
take to the vacations and go
Right.
out and all. So,
Yes.
there are people who will come to the partner and tell that you are so lucky to have a person like this. But
Yes.
the person only knows that how it is with that person. It's not actually how it's seen. It's for the world.
True.
It's for the others to be seen.
Right.
For the
So
partner,
that's
it's
one of the things.
a two-way street.
Yeah, same.
On one side, the husband comes and says that you're so lucky to have me in your life. I'm spending so much on you. I'm making your life so comfortable. He doesn't even bother whether the wife needs those or not, but he will
Right.
keep on showering her with stuff that she might not even bother to have in her life. But
True.
he will keep on showering, and he will keep on making her feel that she doesn't deserve it because she is not good enough. But at the same time, he's such a wonderful person and such a wonderful husband that he's keeping her materially satisfied. So this is one side of that sword. And the other side is people outside, if the wife tries to see that I am miserable here, people will say that from outside it looks that like she has got everything.
Right.
Like
It's a
married to
dream
such
life that she has.
married to such a wonderful person, so socially like in the top notch, the topmost layer of the society.
Right.
You
Right.
have money, you have everything that you can think of. Then why are you complaining? Why are you victimizing yourself? Why are you pretending to be the victim? And that is where the wife again gets into the doubt that if people are saying, and my husband is also saying, so it must be like I'm in the best place, then why do I feel so miserable? Something is
Right.
wrong with me. It
Okay.
literally takes a very strong mentality to come out of that.
True, very true. Because her own self-esteem is like shattered, and she has
It's shattered.
nothing of her own.
Nothing of her. Every person around her keeps on praising the spouse, yes, and keeps on telling her she's very lucky.
Right. Okay. So as you and Vaishali both mentioned that they have the ability to make decisions, good, right, bad, right, wrong. So you know, so what does their moral status look like? Like, are they really able to make a distinguish or make a differentiate between what is good, bad, what is right, wrong, or by default they are not able to do it? They are just doing it because they feel that okay, whatever decision I take, it's right. So is it that way, or they are actually able to make a differentiate between good, bad?
Vaishali, would you like to say?
I would suggest if Chhaya ma'am or Ruchi ma'am would answer.
Yes, even I would want that, yes.
Yes. Anybody, please.
I'm acting like the pro here. Knowing everything about narcissist. Okay.
Chhaya ma'am, would you like to say something? Hello? Chhaya ma'am, are you there? We cannot hear you, ma'am. Ma'am, you're not audible. Ruchi ma'am, would you like to answer the question?
Maybe that their interpretation of what they are doing is correct,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
As we all know that we all perceive the world differently, right? And
Right.
generally whatever decision I make, I most necessarily I will do what I think is correct. If you
Right.
ask, if I see two people quarreling, right, and if I ask why they did particular thing, so according to both of them they are correct.
Right.
So somewhere I as much I can see, they feel that they are they are entitled to what they are getting, what they are doing, and the other person is inferior in that way.
Right. Okay. So
And maybe it is not the correct time because it is the middle of the discussion and I don't know how it proceeds, but I know this video goes to the YouTube, and
Right.
I would request all the viewers that please do not diagnose your people surrounding you to the
Definitely.
NPD, because a lot of what we have just discussed are a lot of things you can see in your loved ones. So rather than just directly listening this conversation and we are just diagnosing them, we all the psychologists do proper tests, right? We do structured tests,
Yes.
and then we reach to some conclusion that the particular person has the diagnosis of NPD or not. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Yes, that was
This
absolutely
is a
true.
very important point, yes.
Definitely. Okay. So basically, they have the ability to identify between what is right and what is wrong. And it's not just about their interpretation of them being the right. Even if they know that somewhere they are going wrong, they would just believe that no, whatever I'm doing is right. Am I correct? Hello?
Yeah, maybe their focus is on their gains basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, when the main thing is like, it just strike me that when we have to understand, like, how do we identify between a person who is very self-confident and the person who is very narcissistic? So there is a very thin line between both of them. So how do we identify that thin line? That okay, this person is self-confident and this person is narcissist. So is there any way to identify that?
Yes.
Um, okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Yes, Vaishali.
Yeah. So, with self-confidence, we can see that they do have achievements because they are somewhere, even if they do have achievements, they don't tend to blast about it or make it the center of attention or in the midway, because
Right.
they have understanding of self so much that they understand that they can stay quiet about it, even
Right.
if they have achieved those things. Wherein, when we see grandiosity in a particular person or in a particular narcissistic, they need that assurance and they need that there is an inner need to show it to the world what they have achieved. More or less, those achievements are also to show the world more than
Right.
themselves.
Right.
So that's kind of one thin line that you can identify from their behaviors, how they are showing or how they are acting upon after those achievements. That can be
Right.
one of the reasons. Again, it's a trait. So it could be a narcissistic trait, but not a narcissistic personality disorder as
Right.
a whole. So
Okay.
that's one of the
Constant
attributes that
appraisal.
you can say to it.
Right. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
constant appraisal of their achievements or whatever they are doing. That's what makes a difference between a self-confident person and a narcissist person, right?
Yeah, because there's no need for a self-confident person to gain those things. So
Right.
that's the basic highlight of it.
Okay. So according to you, what are the basic strengths and weaknesses of a narcissistic personality disorder? Like a person with a narcissistic personality disorder.
I think Ruchi ma'am was saying something. If she can go ahead.
Yes. Ruchi ma'am?
Ma'am, I guess whatever she said, Vaishali ma'am said, my
Right.
point was same. So
Okay.
it has also been covered. Thank you.
Okay. So would you like to answer this particular question about, the strengths and weakness of a person with narcissistic personality disorder?
Okay, yes. Whatever I have learned from this conversation
Right.
and my experience. So basically, when we say weaknesses, it is more when the requirement of to express, understand the emotions of person,
Right.
right? So they may lose in that situation when there it's
Okay.
all the play of emotions are going on. But when again when it is a ladder of success they have to conquer, so it's a advantage for them, because a lot of time we see that the people are not able to go higher in their life, because they they get down because of criticism, or the emotions come in between. So that
Right.
is a very play a positive point in their life. Apart from that, again, manipulation, right? So they can easily manipulate the other people. And another thing is, maybe they at some point in their life they may feel a loss of connection, because they know that the people around them are they are because of their manipulation. And if they know who they real are, right, so there
Right.
is a mask that they are always having.
Yes.
So this is it from my
Okay.
side.
Okay. Indrani ma'am or Vaishali, would you like to add anything?
Ma'am, with narcissistic personality disorder, the weakness could be the rage that is developed within them.
Right.
That's so
Okay.
uncontrollable that it takes over them in a lot of ways. And that
Yeah.
can again hamper the relationship, because they don't look at relationships as permanent connections. They just look
Right.
at it As in, from a society point of view, they should not be empty by anything. So they have to fulfill all the areas, they have all the things. That's a need. So a relationship is also part of it, and they have to excel at that also. So that's
Right.
also one of the areas why they get into relationship. Now,
Right.
another thing could be they have highly ambitious and unrealistic goals. So that
True.
can hamper them in the way they are working towards it, because it can make them think that I can achieve it. That goes in their mind that only I am going to achieve those things. No one else can achieve it apart from me. So I
Right.
have to strive for it. Actually hampers it. Now the other way around could be they also set sometimes really low goals that they can achieve and can boost their moral, because now it's attainable. So I achieved it and I can show it out because it's there. It's a win for me and I can boast about it. So
Right.
that's also one of the factors that you can see with a narcissistic personality person. And when it comes to strengths, as Ruchi ma'am said, that manipulation, they use manipulation as their strength from their point of view, because it's like they are going to attain a lot of things from it. So if you talk to a narcissistic person, they will not consider manipulation as a wrong thing, because that's actually how you can get things, and it's not
Right.
wrong because I'm using it to the best. And again, I'm not hampering someone, because manipulation is changing, but not
Right.
actually hurting someone in any
Right.
sense. So they can justify it by that.
So according to
So
them,
that's
manipulation is just a way to gain things, and they would justify it by that I'm not hurting anybody. It's just that I'm trying to gain something. That's how their thinking works.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So since they are, very yes, Indrani ma'am.
Okay. For narcissists, the weakness will be their insecurity. Narcissists are extremely insecure people. They have a severe emptiness inside them. And this is exactly why they want all those materialistic stuff to talk about them, because they hoard on those. They hold on those, and they make sure that everybody, they keep on talking about themselves so that nobody ever gets to see that emptiness in them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And narcissists are, otherwise they have everything in their favor. They can manipulate, they can reach big goals, they're dedicated, they're genuinely dedicated in reaching their
Right.
goals at the cost of anything and everything. Okay, they want to make it big, and they do make it big. That is also there, that is also very positive. But they are severely insecure people, and that kind of insecurity, and obviously there is a very unfulfilling relationship they have, because for them every relationship is transactional. So long-term friendship or that warm healthy intimacy, they lack in those. So at one point of time we might see that they are very depressed.
Right.
They can be very depressed from inside. Okay. So these are the negative or the weaknesses of this particular disorder. Otherwise, this disorder brings everything else that is good for the person.
Okay. So are they aware about the negativities or their weaknesses? Or they are still in the denial mode that I don't have these things? Or are they actually aware?
Will Ruchi ma'am like to answer this?
Yes, Ruchi ma'am, can you answer the question? Yes.
Okay, so apparently they may be aware of that emptiness that they are having, but possibly they do not know the reason behind it. Right, they are behaving in a certain pattern which they feel is the best possible way to get the things done, to keep the people near to them that are around them, those people they want. But the emptiness is also there, and they cannot sometimes figure out the reason behind it कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, why this emptiness exists. So maybe somewhere they feel that the other person is at fault. They are not bonding the required connection that should be there.
Right. Okay. Anything else that anybody would like to add?
I think I will go with Ruchi ma'am only.
Okay. So, generally what does what brings narcissistic personality disorder to therapy? Like, generally what concerns do they have?
Shall I go ahead with this?
Yes, sure.
A narcissistic person will never come to a therapy session because of something they are going through. They will come to the therapy session for their spouse. Because a spouse will be a person who will be chronically depressed, chronically stressed out, severely anxious, self-doubting. There can be a somatization of the long emotional harassment, and they worry a lot. The spouses usually are who come for therapy, and the narcissistic person will come and say that I'm doing everything for her, she has everything in her life, or he has everything in her life. It's usually like man and wife, and the man will say I'm doing everything for her, but she's not happy, she's still not happy. But ask her what I can do for her. I'm spending on her holidays, etc., etc. She's got everything that a woman might think of, but still she is so stressed. And you will basically, a narcissist doesn't come for therapy, and we usually need to tend to the partner, and only after talking to the partner and listening to what the spouse has to say, the narcissist spouse has to say, we can understand that this person can be narcissistic.
Right. So if the narcissistic personality people are not willing to come to the therapy, then are there any direct or indirect strategies to bring them to therapy apart from the spouse telling them to do it? No, right? It is very difficult to make them realize that they are having some concerns.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very difficult. They are usually very successful, doing amazingly well in their career, doing amazingly well in their lives, have beautiful wives, have successful kids, and he has planned everything out. So unless and until there is a severe lashback from any of the people around him that has made him depressed or something, I don't see any issue. Even then, it will hurt their ego to come for therapy sessions.
Okay. Other than, like, what would be different of various? Yes, Vaishali.
So I feel the very rare chances of a narcissistic kind of person to come would be the vulnerable kind. So they might just think that no one thinks about me, no one understands me. So that's what they want to talk it out. Maybe that could be one of the kinds that can come because they think that I know.
Narcissists.
Yeah, the covert narcissist.
Right.
The covert narcissist, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would
they feel they are the victims? They are the victims. Not praised enough.
Right. So what would be different treatment models for them?
If anybody would like to say, then.
Ruchi ma'am, would you like to answer?
So I would start with psychoeducation, right? And then there can be different techniques. There is DBT, there is narrative therapy. So these techniques can be used with them.
Okay.
So that, yeah, that will be my input.
Okay. Indrani ma'am, would you like to add anything?
Same as Ruchi ma'am. I would like to incorporate DBT.
Right.
And yes,
Hmm.
maybe CBT, maybe REBT as need. There might be a need of, but I think DBT will be the major one I'd like to implement.
Okay. Okay. So my last question for the day is like, what are the different comorbidities that exist along with narcissistic personality disorders?
The ones that we can see is usually, substance use is seen with narcissistic personality disorder to feel those emptiness that they are experiencing. That gets filled up when they indulge in such kind of things. So that could be one of the comorbidity. And another thing that I feel could be co-occurring pattern could be uh, depression or mood disorders,
Right.
because there are a lot of switch in moods because they are so fragile to criticisms, then they cannot take failure in a greater way, and there is only win and lose perspective in their eyes. So that can lead to a lot of mood disturbances, and that could be one of the comorbidity.
Okay. So depression and substance use are two different comorbidities that could exist with NPD.
Yes.
So we are done with our discussion, and it was indeed an amazing discussion. So I've got to learn a lot of things from everyone out here. So there are so many things that I was not aware of, and you have like helped me understand it in a better way. So thank you everyone for being there and giving your inputs. I'm so happy for having this discussion.
Thank you, Nirali. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Ruchi ma'am. Nirali, I would like to add to what Ruchi ma'am was talking about, that whatever we are discussing here is from our experience and
Yes.
from what we know.
Right.
So from anybody who is following this recording, who's watching this, should not use it, you know, for diagnosing or for accusing a partner or anybody around them. Should not diagnose anybody or relate to it. It's always better to go to an expert, to go to a properly certified practitioner and find out what is what.
Yes. So please
Thank you,
do not
Ruchi ma'am, for that
self-diagnose.
point. A very important one, yes.
Thank you for pointing out to that. So guys, please do not self-diagnose NPD. We use different testing materials to diagnose the disorder, and there are different treatments that we give. So please do not self-diagnose and end up ruining the relationship with anyone that you have. So yes, I am actually looking forward for many more discussions like this. So hope to see you all soon.
Same, yes, yes.
Yes.
Goodbye,
looking
everyone.
forward.
It was amazing discussion. Loved it.
Yes, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Bye,
I
Ruchi
liked
ma'am.
it.
Bye, Vaishali ma'am.
Bye,
Yes, I
Bye.
had a
Indrani.
nice time.
Bye, Ruchi.
Bye. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Indrani ma'am. Bye, Ruchi ma'am. Bye, Vaishali.